Hey everyone, Bill Lethman here for MoneyEvolution.com. And today's video blog is going to be answering the question, should you get out of an annuity that you already own? So this video is part of a series where I'm talking all about annuities. If you're watching this video on our YouTube channel, this video should be part of a series that should include about 4 or 5 videos. I'll probably add to that a little bit here as well. But the purpose of this video series is to hopefully educate you, clear up any confusion that you might have about annuities, and if you're thinking about buying an annuity, hopefully arm you with some of the right questions that you should ask before you buy an annuity. So, should you get out of an annuity that you already own? And I know this is a topic that comes up all the time in our reviews that we have with clients, and there's really a couple things, I think about 4 or 5 things that I think you need to look at before you just go ahead and cash that annuity in. The first one is there a surrender penalty? So most annuities have some length of time that you have to hold on to the annuity, and if you were to get out of the annuity within that surrender period, you could be faced with some pretty hefty penalties. You know, sometimes 8% or more, depending on how long you've had it and what type of annuity it is. So in my opinion, I think it's very hard to justify getting out of an annuity and paying that kind of a penalty to get out. But if you are thinking about that and you are considering getting out of an annuity, one thing I think to pay attention to is the anniversary date of the annuity. So most of these surrender periods usually decline a little bit each year on the anniversary. So you might find that you're very close within a month or two or a few months of one of those anniversary dates where maybe your penalty that you'd pay, you know, might go down from, you know, 4% to 3% or 3% to 2% or something like that. And I generally, like I said, find it very hard to justify paying any more than a percent or two to get out of an annuity, and even then, very rarely do I think that makes sense. The second thing I think to consider when you're getting out of an annuity is, are you losing any living benefits? So I think you have to think about maybe why you bought the annuity in the first place. What were some of those reasons? One of those reasons might have been because you hoped or thought the annuity was going to produce some future income, maybe through a living benefit. So what some of these annuity contracts look like is you might have a living benefit, for example, that is much higher than the current contract value or the amount that you would actually cash out. So take a quick example of this. Let's say you put $100,000 into an annuity, and maybe let's say the market really hasn't gone anywhere and it's still worth $100,000, but your living benefit income base is $130,000 as an example. Well, you have to think about that. Maybe let's say they're paying 5% off of that $130,000, so you'd have $6,500 a year of potential income or withdrawal guarantee from that annuity. And if you were to, you know, try to duplicate that on your own, it might be a much higher withdrawal. You might not be able to replace that same level of income. So pay attention to what living benefits you potentially might be giving up by getting out of that. You also want to look at, you know, what are you moving the money to, you know, and how is that maybe going to be better than the current annuity that you own. And again, think back why you bought that annuity in the first place and make sure that whatever you're moving to has a decent chance that you're going to be doing better over the long run versus what you have by just keeping the annuity. The next reason I want to talk about is loss of death benefit. So very similar to the living benefit loss, is you might have a death benefit guarantee that's higher than your actual contract value. I've seen some of these where there's some pretty substantial differences. Now, you know, you have to think about your age and when that death benefit is likely to be paid out, but especially if you're older and you're maybe closer to the end of your life, nobody ever really knows, but then that death benefit might be a lot more significant versus if you're younger and you've got a lot more time, then maybe giving up that death benefit may not be significant, but you still want to consider that. And then you also want to look at the cost. You know, maybe that's one of the reasons that you're thinking about getting out of the annuity is you think that it's too expensive and maybe there's a lower alternative. And that very well could be a good reason to do it. But again, you want to weigh all of these costs, the surrender penalties, what else you might be giving up by that annuity, and what you think any new investment might do for you that might be better or different than the current annuity. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that helps answer some of the questions that you might have about an annuity that you already own. If you want us to run an analysis for you, we have access to a complete database that includes information on virtually every annuity that's ever been issued, and we can run some quick numbers for you, give you some idea as to whether or not it might make sense to get out of that annuity or keep the one that you have. And anyway, hope that helps. Hope that's some good information for you to think about. Again, this video is part of a playlist that you can find on our YouTube channel. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, now would be a good time to do that. Hit the subscribe button. We generally update several times a week. I'm trying to even up that a little bit more here to be a little bit more frequent. But got lots of good content. And again, if you are watching this at any place other than our blog at moneyevolution.com, you can head over there, and we have lots of free content and other articles and videos that can help you hopefully plan for a more confident financial future. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see everyone back here in our next video. Thanks.